Technical acknowledgements. Welcome to the Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center. The introductory texts to the center were written by Marcia Martins during her internship in the bachelor's degree in Languages for International Relations of the IPB. They were reviewed by Claudia Martins. The voices in the recordings are by Laura del Valle Acevedo, and Teresa León was in charge of the sound mixing. This production was only made possible thanks to the support given by the School of Education of the Polytechnic Institute of Bragança. Location. The center is situated between the streets Abilio Bessa and Emilio Navarro in the city center, surrounded by residential and commercial buildings facing the Sé Square. In front of the main facade is the Bragança Club and the Chave de Ouro Café. History. The building of Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center was built in the 18th century by Francisco Xavier da Veiga Cabral, who was a governor of arms of the Trás-os-Montes province, and only later was it bought by José Sá Vargas. This building is known as the Vargas Estate, and it displays the characteristic architecture of a small palace. After the death of its last resident, Diogo Albino de Sá Vargas, the building was donated on October 13th of 1936 to the Santa Casa da Misericordia, Holy House of Mercy, by bequest. The remaining property and family heritage were likewise donated to multiple county and district institutions, such as the Military Museum and the former Library and Regional Museum of Bragança, currently known as the Museum of Abade de Bassal. This property, estimated by Louvados, officials appointed by the judge to evaluate estate, in 72,000 escudos, former Portuguese currency, was sold in 1940 with a bidding basis of 249,000 through public auction. The Bank of Portugal, then directed by José Antonio Furtado Montaña, exceeded the base value and paid 250,000 escudos, currently 1,250 euros. The Bank of Portugal services operated in the Vargas estate until its closure in 1993. The building was then completely derelict. Negotiations to buy this property were held between the Bragança City Hall and the Bank of Portugal at the end of the 20th century. Nevertheless, it is only in 2001 that the building is occupied by the Sé Parish Council, giving it a new purpose. In 2002, the Bragança City Hall applied for the Interreg 3A program, known as the Trans-Museum Project, in which the construction of the Contemporary Art Center of Bragança by the architect Eduardo Soto Moura was included, as well as the construction of Baltasar Lobo Museum in Zamora by the architect José Rafael Moneo. This Contemporary Art Center would come to be in the Vargas estate. With this in mind, in 2004, the Parish Council withdraws from the building and the works to recover and adapt it to its new purpose begins. This project had a global investment of 5 million euros, of which 2 million were part of Interreg 3A program contribution. The architect, Eduardo Soto Moura, who was awarded with the Pritzker Prize, equivalent to the Nobel of Architecture, in 2011 and the Golden Lion of Venice Biennale in 2018, aimed at restoring and expanding the building with his project. The local government unanimously decided to assign the name of the Portuguese painter Graça Morais to the Contemporary Art Center. Subsequently, the center was visited by the European Commissioner for Regional Development, Danuta Hübner, and the Portuguese Minister for the Environment, Spatial Planning and Regional Development, Nunes Correia. The official inauguration of the Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center was held on June 30, 2008, with the attendance of the Portuguese Prime Minister José Sócrates, the Minister of Culture Antonio Pinto Ribeiro, the architect Soto Moura, the artist Graça Morais, and the Serralves Foundation Director João Fernandes. This inauguration featured the exhibition Drawing and Painting 1982-2005 with representative works of the different series between 1982 and 2005. From this day on, the Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center starts to continuously feature several temporary exhibitions of the artist, curated by Jorge da Costa, as well as the temporary exhibitions from guest artists. The center holds an average of 2 exhibitions per year dedicated to the painter Graça Morais and 4 by visiting artists. Transformations. The Vargas estate underwent considerable changes throughout the years. Before it was owned by the Bank of Portugal, the main floor had been adapted for commercial purposes. Thus, the doors and windows were replaced for something more common and practical, for commerce. Under the Bank of Portugal management, beyond the adaptation for the new functions, an attached building was built in the garden. In an attempt to restore the main facade to its original condition, the architect Manuel da Rocha Casquilho returned the old windows to the ground floor, and in the balconies of the first floor, he put cast iron railings. Indoor spaces, such as the entrance hall and the employee's office, were also reorganized. Layout of the center. Currently, the Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center can be divided into 3 different sections. The first section is the Sá Vargas estate, where, after its restoration by architect Eduardo Sotomoura, services such as the entrance reception through the Abílio Bessa Street, a library and bar cafeteria, were placed on the ground floor. On the first floor, divided into 7 rooms, the exhibitions of the Graça Morais collection are displayed. The second section of the center that is placed in the old garden serves as a link between the Vargas estate and the temporary exhibition space. Here, there are the educational service rooms, the administrative office, the documentation center, and a meeting room. Finally, the third section is the temporary exhibition space, where large works can be displayed, given the room's considerable size. Here, another entrance to the public via the Emílio Navarro Street can also be found. Besides the garden, the center also has a workshop area, pieces reception area, freight lifts, and collection reserves.
Graça Morais' life and work. Maria da Graça Pinto de Almeida Morais was born on the 17th of March, 1948, in Vieiro, which is a village in Vila Flor, part of the Bragança district. She shows an interest in art from a young age, especially in painting, and throughout her youth she would practice her passion either in Trás-os-Montes or in Mozambique, where Graça Morais approximately lived from 1957 to 1959. This interest becomes more evident, therefore becoming Graça Morais' calling when she decides to study painting in the Fine Arts School in Oporto. In 1971, she finished her degree with an exhibition performance composed of paintings in overlapped silks, painted dresses, and screens as her final work. In the same year, she married the painter Jaime Silva and starts to teach at the Soares dos Reis Decorative Art School in Oporto. The following year, she teaches visual education in the city of Guimarães, which encouraged her first work series that will be part of her first exhibition, inaugurated in January of 1974 in the Alberto Sampaio Museum, also in Guimarães. In 1976, she founds the Puzzle Group along with 8 artists and 1 art critic. For 2 years, she showcases various painting exhibitions, installations, and performances inside and outside of the country. While receiving a scholarship from the Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation, Graça Morais traveled through cities like Paris, Venice, and Lisbon, and Cape Verde, among others. The year 1982 is marked by sadness, given the death of her newborn son João, who lived only a few hours. The artist falls severely ill and does not paint for months. She returns to work in her hometown of Vieiro in 1983 and proceeds to hold national and international exhibitions throughout the following years. After a decade, in 1993, she marries the composer and Portuguese guitar instrumentalist Pedro Caldeira Cabral. Following many international travels, the painter returns home and in 2008 supports the inauguration of the Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center in Bragança that is permanently dedicated to her work. Since 1974, Graça Morais produced and participated in more than 100 individual and collective exhibitions in Portugal and abroad. Among these, some national highlights are Humanity in 2008 at the Graça Morais Contemporary Art Center in Bragança, that celebrated the center's 10th anniversary, and Metamorphosis of Humanity, that in 2019 began its tour to the Chiado National Museum of Contemporary Art in Lisbon and the Soares dos Reis National Museum in Oporto. Internationally, the following exhibitions should be emphasized: Künstler aus Nord-Portugal in Germany and Luxembourg, Le 20e au Portugal in Brussels, Arco 86 in Madrid, Sétima Bienal Pontevedra in Spain, 9 Portuguese painters in John Hanser Gallery, Southampton in England, 1986, for the celebration of the 25th anniversary of Amnesty International. Awards. Throughout her artist's career, Graça Morais received various awards, such as, in chronological order, in 1982, the second prize in Lagos Bienal with the series The Dogs. In 1983, the first prize in the National Design Exhibition, carried out by Cooperativa Árvore in Oporto. The Socktip Artist of the Year Prize, under which a book album of critical texts and paintings representative of her work was produced. In 1999, the Dona Antónia Adelaide Ferreira Prize. In 2013, the Acquisition Grand Prize. In 2014, the Women Creators of Culture Distinction. In 2015, she was honored by Plast and Scene in Bragança. In 2016, the Life and Work Prize from SOS Style Awards. In 2017, she received the Medal of Cultural and Scientific Merit, Gold Grade, in Vila Nova de Gaia. And in 2018, received the Medal of Honor from the Polytechnic Institute of Bragança. Graça Morais is also part of the Fine Arts National Academy and various other associations, artist societies, and cultural foundations. In 1997, she was awarded with the rank of Grand Officer of the Order of Infante do Henrique, given by the President of the Republic at the time, Dr. Jorge Sampaio, and in 2019 received the Cultural Merit Medal on behalf of the Portuguese government, given by the Minister of Culture, Graça Fonseca. Beyond painting. Graça Morais' work has been establishing proficuous dialogues with the work of Portuguese contemporary writers, such as Sofia de Melbrenner Anderson, for the work Orpheus and Eurydice, and The Angel of Timor, in 2001 and 2003, respectively. José Saramago in The Year 1993, in 1987. Miguel Torga in The Wonderful Kingdom, in 2002. And Metamorphoses by Agostina Bessa Luís in 2007. In 1993, she designs the sets for the play The Screens by Jean Genet and showcased by the Cascais Experimental Theatre, following Carlos Avila's invitation. In 1995, she engages in the set and costume design for the Richard II play, showcased in the Dona Maria II National Theatre, once again staged by Carlos Avilés. The artist also made artistic interventions on tiles, among which we could highlight the headquarters building of Caixa Geral de Depósitos in Lisbon, the Bielorussia Metropolitan Station of Moscow, the town market in Bragança, and the theatre of Bragança, and the Oporto's Planetarium and Astrophysics Center. 2 cinematographic documentaries about the life and work of the artist were also produced. The Chosen, by Margarida Gil, in 1997, and On the Head of a Woman Lies the History of a Village, by Joana Morais, in 1999.